The moment that I first believed began with my parents. My parents knew each other from a really young age, and my dad grew up in a Christian home, but my mom didn't. And they had both heard the gospel many, many, many times, and they understood it, but they weren't Christians. They weren't believing in the gospel. And it was one day when my parents, for an unknown reason to them, they found themselves listening to a Christian worship CD. And my mom just started crying and said, "I think I believe in God." I was just the first person who really got to benefit from that and just benefit from their excitement about God and the excitement that God had just transformed their lives in such a huge way. I went to church every week, and my parents had told me about Jesus, and I don't remember a specific time when I just heard the gospel completely laid out for me before I became a Christian. I knew that I was a sinner. I knew that when I would have an attitude with my parents or backtalk or fight with my sister and get sent to my room and get in trouble, I knew that I had done something wrong. And it wasn't that I just offended my parents, it's that I knew I did something wrong and I felt bad about that. And I knew that that's what sin was, and I knew that from all the times that I've heard that at church and from my parents. And I knew that Jesus was the Son of God, and I knew that Jesus loves me and cares about me and saves me. And I remember my sister, who's 3 years younger than me, she had come up to my dad and said, "I want to become a Christian." And so kind of listening to my dad talk to her about it and kind of making sure that she understood the entire gospel, I think that's the first time I remember hearing the gospel all laid out for me for the first time. And then I was like, oh, I believe that too. And I believe that. And I believe that. And so that's when I prayed to God for the first time and just, telling him, yeah, I know I'm a sinner and I know that you've saved me. If I had a bad day or if I felt lonely, then I knew that Jesus was there for me and that Jesus cared for me. And I never really thought about that before I became a Christian. God is definitely still just unfolding the gospel for me every day. Even though I've been a Christian for a really long time now, I still am just seeing God in a whole new light in different areas of my life. And he's just been teaching me so much more than I understood when I first believed in him.